Open source CSS libraries. Without further ado, let's get to the video. The first library I chose is Tailwind CSS. Many people have heard and used this in React projects. When you go to this web, you can see a guide of coding level related to this library. Okay. Let's start with Get Started first. Here you will find a guide on how to start using this library. Under the topic of installation, you can see Tailwind CLI using Post CSS to the framework guide, and finally links where you can see how to use it through the very familiar CDN. You know that in Angular and React projects we use npm, which is Node Package Manager, to install some packages. Therefore, this CSS library can also be installed through npm. After that, how to create configuration file is shown here. If you have Angular and React hands-on experience, you can easily go through this. Here are the steps you need to follow as numbers. Okay, now let's see what are the special components of this library bring to us. Before that, let's see how we can use this library practically through CDN. It is very simple. Just copy and paste is like any other libraries. Let's see the simple web page with plugging and adding this library. By going through this documentation, you can easily experience how you can play with this library. Let's create a simple, very basic web page and see how the web page change with that. After inspecting and looking at the DOM through the Dev tool, you can see how the content of the web page has changed. Here you can see how the Hello World text has changed through the CSS class provided by the library for the h1 tag. And I want to say, this Dev tool provided by Chrome is a great tool that should be used especially when doing web development. We will talk about that in the future. Next, let's look at the Bootstrap library, which is very popular among many people. Like all other libraries, this library can be easily plugged into our project. At the time of making this video, the latest version of Bootstrap is 5.2. You can also see here, we can install Bootstrap for both npm and CDN modes. Especially remember to add both CSS and JS script here when adding Bootstrap via CDN. Like before, here too we have been given a guide on how to use this library. The special feature of Bootstrap is that the library is created from CSS classes that can be easily understood. Okay. Let's take a quick start with the documentation here. This is very simple. Even if you don't have any experience with Bootstrap, you can start here. Let's simply see how to plug Bootstrap into a small basic web page. Let's make a sample page by using the same code in this documentation. As a second step, we can add CSS and JS related to Bootstrap via CDN. You can see how the text is when we create a normal web page. A normal font, the one we always see in HTML web page. But then you can see how the style changes by adding Bootstrap. Inspect through DevTools in Chrome. Now you can see clearly, we have added a style and a JS script which will be given to us by Bootstrap. You can see how the web page changes accordingly. So in this way you can easily add Bootstrap to your project. Especially if it is Angular or React-based project, you can use npm to install Bootstrap. So in this documentation, you can easily grab the relevant links and code. So through that we can use this library very easily. Next we will look at our latest open source CSS library. That is Bulma. We can call it Bulma CSS. So like the two libraries we talked about earlier, this is a free CSS library that provides very easy and good UI components. Let's see a quick tour of this library as well. This library can be used in npm and CDN version as before. If it is an npm-based project, you can install the project very easily through this npm command. OK. A stator template is given here. Let's start there. We can easily see how the web page changes by adding this library. Nice. You can see how our content changed through Bulma CSS classes. With a nice font and formatting. Also, you can easily check in DevTool what kind of classes and the respective element will be added. So I hope this video has been of some help you. Especially for those who are looking to start front-end development. Then, see you again in the next video.